If you've ever tried to convince yourself or your significant other that bleach stains on a shirt or a pair of pants is actually a fashion statement and all the cool kids are doing it now, no, I didn't ruin a pair of pants that you just bought me. If you've ever had that conversation, go ahead and hit subscribe because I think we've all been there. So you guys saw the title. We'll get into it real quick. I don't have a lot of time, so we'll try to make this one a fast video. We'll show you something that cost me about $2,500 by adding this one little item, this one little tool to my system and not understanding what all out of whack I threw everything. So let me show you what it was. This is a little trigger gun from Tractor Supply. You guys have probably seen these, pretty cheap. I think it's like $29. Little trigger style wand from Tractor Supply. It's got a hose barb here on the end. Looks like a like a 1/4 inch little tiny little bitty hose barb there on the end of that thing. So that might be a 3/8, but it's small. So let me give you the backstory. I've been washing for years and years and years, since 2003 on my own in high school. That was my 11th grade in high school, and all the way through my 20s, you know, doing tons of roof cleaning. So fast forward to 2017, and I went full time. I left my corporate job and started Southeast Soft Wash. We weren't making any equipment. We were just running a wash truck. We did that for a year and a half. And me and Dusty there together, and we're working together. He came on board with me in February, and we've been together ever since. So in the past, the way I had done it, I had a batch system that I built myself, had little 2.3 or a 3 gallon a minute, something like that, pump that I could grab from the local co-op, just a little 12-volt pump. And most of the time, the biggest one they'll have there is like 3 gallons a minute. So that's what I had. And like I said, been doing it for years and years and years. Well, we'd run a 3/8 hose off of that, a couple hundred feet, and one of these little trigger guns. And, you know, as long as we rinsed out like we should, it would last a whole season. Pretty much the next year, I would throw this away and grab me another pump, grab me a new wand, and rock and roll. So 2017 gets here, we're going full time, and I say, hey, let's get the biggest pump. You know, we want to knock these jobs out. Let's get a bigger pumps, because I know there's bigger pumps out there. We order some, we get some 7 gallon a minute Delavan pumps, and we put them in place. We rig up the back of the truck. We set everything up. Now we're moving from a batch to a blend system. Bought a little blender from a guy on Facebook, little Pentair valve blender, and off we go, right? So took a couple weeks. We got all the tanks and everything situated like we wanted to. We get out there and we're doing kind of the first big job, and we kill a pump. Dang, that's not good. You know, I wonder why that happened. So order another pump, put that one on. We go out, and I think we made it through one other job. Pump just overheating, getting hot as crap. All the wiring's getting hot, and killed that pump. Dang it, you know, what is going on? Well, I know I call myself knowing what I'm doing because I've got 15 years of experience washing roofs, right? I've never had any of this problem. What is going on with these pumps? Man, we are pissed. We're like, these pumps ain't worth a flip. Delavan sucks. So we're thinking, you know, what's going on? Is it the wiring? Or we're not wiring them with thick, you know, big enough gauge wire? Dusty's an electrician, so we feel like everything's good to go. You know, is the switch bad? Is it getting bad flow? You know, what is it just the pumps? These pumps suck. So we got an Everflow 7 gallon a minute pump. Tried that. Killed it within the first couple jobs. Dead pump. Now, keep in mind, these pumps are a couple $100. They're a little bit pricey. And we're having to be out on the job site, kill a pump, order a pump. We got to leave and wait for another pump to come in and then come back out and finish the job. So I ordered a few, keep a couple spares on the truck. But I mean, we were literally going through at least a pump a week, if not 2 pumps. I think in total, we went through about 6 pumps. We went to an auto parts store. We're changing relays. You know, we're like, what the crap is going on with this system? You know, we don't know what the problem is. Well, come to find out, when we learned, we reached out, talked to some people in the industry. Now, keep in mind, this was pre-YouTube channel. I wasn't a member of any of the Facebook groups. I didn't know anybody, and it was really frustrating. I'm just letting you guys see, you know, everybody that is a teacher that is established in the industry, and I know a lot, but here's a moment where I was dumb. Sometimes, you know, guys call us with very silly questions, but here's a moment where I just was stupid. And probably to the person who I asked, you know, for help, they were like, well, duh, here's your answer. And so, you know, I did feel stupid. Well, anytime something like that, guys, is going crazy, stop and think, what have I changed right? If everything used to work fine and now I can't get a pump to last but a job or two, what have I changed? Well, a couple things had changed, but really the only thing that had changed was the pump size. So when we went up to that 7 gallon a minute pump, and we're running 3/8 hose, just whatever hose I found at the agriculture place, the co-op, 3/8 big old, we had a yellow braided hose. It sucked too. It was like rough on the hand, not very flexible, nothing like this Curitech we use now, but 3/8 hose, one of these style wands. This had a lot to do with it, this wand. Basically what we were doing is just working that pump to death. It's trying to flow 7 gallons a minute, and we're necking it down in this skinny little bitty hose, and then it's getting to the wand. Look at this orifice on the wand. It's like a needle. It's so tiny. It is little bitty. And it's, you know, little bitty through the barrel of this thing is skinny and little. And so we were just asking more of the pump than the pump could possibly do. There was no scenario where the pump was going to be able to do that. I get guys now that want us to put 7 gallon a minute pumps on our systems. We don't do it. Not that you can't make a 7 gallon a minute work. You can, absolutely. But you just have to beef up all your hoses to 5/8 usually. You want everything to have more flow because the pump's trying to flow more. You got to beef up your wiring. Really, guys, I've tried them side by side, 7 gallon, 5.5. There's not a lot of performance difference between the two. There is a good bit of cost difference. It's about $90, $100 in difference as far as a cost for a pump. So you got that to factor in. And if I'm only getting, you know, a few feet more in distance, it's just really not worth it. There seems to be a lot more electrical gremlins with the 7 gallon a minutes too. You can make them work. I've made them work before, but I like the 5.5s. They seem to be really the sweet spot. So what we did after consulting a few people who were smarter than I was, and we were like, well, duh, that makes sense, right? So the pump is trying to flow more than the hose, and the wand is allowing it. Here's what we did. We got rid of this, and we built one of these. This is kind of the evolution of the first soft wash wand that we built. Now, we weren't the first to build these. Folks have been building this style wand for a long time, but the person we were talking to that was like, hey, try this. This is kind of what they told us to build. Put a little barb on it. Now, our systems come with Curitech, which is threaded. It's got a crimped on fitting, so we don't need the barb. It just screws directly into here. But if you're running just a straight piece of hose, put yourself a barb on the end right there, stick your hose on, put a hose clamp, right? 1/2 inch. See how big the barrel is on that thing versus this little skinny barrel here, right? So obviously a lot more flow is going to come through this one versus this one. So a whole lot more flow. The orifice size, now you probably can't see this, but if you look through there, that's a pretty good size orifice. Now, we like these little adjustable tips. Guys, you can also use, with our wands that we use now and that we sell, you can use a standard J-rod. So if you look at the end of that, we've got some different tip sizes, but look, big orifice, shooter tip right here, 0 degree, smaller 0 degree, big fan, and small fan on the side. So these are, let's see, what are these? 2315s, a 2540, and then we've got two other, I can't see it, an 0040 and an 0015 for the shooter tips. So, you know, much bigger. Let's just look at this in comparison. Look at the tip right there versus the tip right there. Can you see that? Look at the difference in flow. Now, you can't just factor the tip, but you got to factor in all of this restriction in this gun, and that big old 200 foot of 3/8 was not helping anything at all either. So basically the whole system on the discharge side was doing nothing at all to help that pump flow. The poor pump is trying to flow, and you've just put restrictions all the way through the discharge side. So it's just killing it. Well, lesson learned, right? So we made that change. We got rid of that, and we incorporated this type of system here, this little wand. We beefed up our hoses to a 1/2 inch diameter hose, which helped a whole lot. So we've got a whole lot more, a whole lot less restriction, a whole lot less friction loss in the length of hose. We've got less restriction loss here by a long, long shot. We've got a bigger orifice tip out here on the end, big hole, big orifice for it to flow through. You can see through the entire wand right there. Lots of flow. That's what we're looking for. Plenty of flow so that pump can pump. It's trying to pump, by God, and we ain't giving it any way to pump. So guys, that little thing right there, just that wand right there, cost me about $2,500 in pumps and in lost jobs that we couldn't, you know, we had to go make 2 or 3 trips to get out there to finish a job, and just feeling like an idiot by the time we got it all figured out. So when you're running into something like that, stop and think, what have I changed? Was everything working and now I did something and now it ain't? Because it's probably got something to do with that. But don't use these at all. Don't use them. Another reason is this is metal, this is steel. It's not super high grade, and this is poly, so there's nothing really here to rust. This is going to rust out on you pretty quick. Nothing wrong with a trigger gun, but understand that there's a spring in here that's going to go out, whereas this is just a poly ball valve, right? So you're never going to rust this wand out. And if you break this one, you can fix it in the field for, you know, 50 cents. These are $10. That's the most expensive thing here. This is about $2. You're not going to really break this little short fitting reducer. Stainless quick connect or brass, either one. So they're really robust. They allow a whole lot more flow. And just that silly little stupid change right there, restricting that pump, cost me at least $2,500 in travel time, going back and forth to jobs, ordering pumps, frustration, aggravating, lost jobs that we, you know, should have been able to do in 2 hours. Now we're spending half a day and changing pumps out for no reason. And two, it got me jaded at the pumps because I just didn't know what was going on. And what do we blame? We blame the pumps. It's not the pumps, guys. It's just, it was a learning experience. We all can learn something all the time. Never think you've arrived. There's stuff to learn. So hope you guys have a great Sunday and a great week. If you want to grab one of these ones, I'll put a link down in the description below. Really like these. We put these micro valves from Banjo on there. You can turn them with one finger. So they turn very smoothly, high quality, but not going to break the bank. These are, I think, $75 is what they are on the website. And if you don't like the blue or the green adjustable tips, we like these because you can just reach up and go from a fan to a pencil stream. You can put a standard J-rod on there if you want to. It'll work. So I've had guys call and say, hey man, I bought a wand from you, but I don't like this tip. Well, change the tip. You knew what you were getting. This is a good tip. This is a good tip too, but these are a little bit costly. These are cheap, but you know, it's just apples and oranges. So hope you guys have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next week. Gonna get in here in the shop, knock out a LumaMax Pro and a couple mini skids next week, and gonna get some work done on a trailer. So we'll check in with you guys later. See ya.